And we are following breaking news at 6 a.m. here. A fatal crash in San Ysidro. This is happening on the southbound 805 at the connector to the westbound 905. This crash happened around 3:15 this morning. You can see the investigators out there at the scene right now. Authorities say 3 women were in one car, veered off the road. One of them died. The other 2 women have major injuries. A SIG alert has been issued, so be aware if you are in the area.
Yeah, again, this is San Ysidro, so it's a heavily traveled area. 805 near the connector of the 905. And from the aerial view, you can see they have that caution tape out. A lot of law enforcement on the scene out there. I believe this is a live look right now from Chopper 8. It's still dark, obviously, but it looks like there are investigators there with flashlights trying to figure out how this happened. The car veered off of the roadway, and it looks like there's a ditch right there along the side. So, of course, we are working for you to get more information. As soon as we get details on when that area might open back up, we'll be sure to let you know.
So glad you're with us here at 6 a.m. everyone on this Wednesday. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Neda Irampour. On to our other top story here this morning. More San Diegans are becoming homeless for the first time. And then the number of people who are finding housing.
That's according to a new report that's highlighting this growing issue in our county. CBS 8's Dana Marie McNichol live with a look at these numbers and how the county is trying to prevent homelessness from starting in the first place. Good morning.
Right. Good morning, Eric and Neda. A brand new report came out, and we see that people every month, more than 1,000 are becoming homeless for the very first time. As looking for the data over the past year, 15,000 people became homeless for the very first time. But with that being said, 11,800 people were housed in a variety of ways. Now, the county did come out with this data with an on average 10 people found housing for every 13 people experienced homelessness for the very first time. So they say that their efforts are being recognized. Now, the report shows demographics of who was housed each month. The largest group was seniors and veterans, then families and youth. All of this data came from the Homeless Management Information System. Now, this comes as a time when the county just approved a new plan to prevent homelessness by identifying people at risk through data. Major League Baseball teams use a similar technology to win games. They use data to predict how players will perform by analyzing pitching, hitting, and fielding. And the county is actually hoping to use a similar technology to predict who is on the cusp of homelessness here in our county. Another approved project is an app-based tool that helps county employees like librarians or rangers connect unsheltered people to services. So the County Board of Supervisors are really making homelessness a priority in our county. They actually approved a state of emergency. So of course that we know that this is so important to making sure that we keep our people in homes and off the streets. If you'd like a further look at that data, CBS8.com. I'm Dana Marie McNichol coming to you live from Harbor Island.
Well, San Diego home prices are continuing to drop here. We're seeing a record slowdown, in fact, nationwide.
CBS 8's Chris Groh working for you now to break down these numbers and explain what's behind this trend. Good morning, Chris.
Yeah, good morning. And a lot of people wondering when it is that they might be able to buy a home, many of them first-time home buyers. Well, experts are pointing out to those high mortgage rates as pushing out those potential buyers. And with less demand, you're seeing that prices are dipping. It's the way that things go. And that's the case even here in San Diego, where the supply is still considered to be low. In fact, according to S&P Case-Shiller, home prices are down 2.5% from July to August in San Diego. That makes us one of the markets with the fastest decreases, and it's the biggest drop that we've seen in our area since July of 2008 during the housing crisis. Now, this doesn't necessarily point to a rush of buyers flooding the market after we saw those buyers leave the market. In fact, prices are still up nearly 13% annually in San Diego. According to Realtor.com, the median price listing of a home in San Diego in September was just under $900,000. Back in 2020, just before the pandemic, median listing prices were around $670,000. So that jump that happened there during the pandemic when a rush of cash buyers came into the market, still very much being felt. Now, nationwide, prices are up still at about 13% annually. But the good news is a couple of factors here. In August, seasonally adjusted home prices fell 0.9% month over month, and July marked the first month-over-month decrease for the national index since February of 2012, and the drop between July and August was the largest deceleration of home prices in the history of the index. So again, we are starting to see a number of these factors play out into numbers. Now, all 20 cities tracked by the index reported smaller price increases in August compared to last year. So a long way to say, essentially, it does appear that things are getting better, potentially for those who wish to buy a home soon. Eric and Netta.
Chris Grow reporting. Thank you for that, Chris. Rent prices are down throughout much of the country, but San Diego is still among the most expensive cities. That's according to Zumper, a rental listing company. We were number 6 on the list with a median one-bedroom rent at $2,500. New York was at the top, followed by Boston, San Francisco, San Jose, and Miami. Zumper says the national median rent is down for both 1- and 2-bedroom apartments. The company says prices are going down because of several factors, including more vacancy in some markets and fears of a recession.
And now today marks 40 years since the death of Mahsa Amini while she was in custody of Iran's so-called morality police. It's also the end of their traditional mourning period after her death. People have been protesting against Iran's current regime for 6 weeks now, despite deadly crackdowns by security forces. Rallies will be held across Iran today and a rally here in San Diego. That will be in front of the Hall of Justice right there on Broadway at noon today from about noon to 2. Organizers say they want the White House to take a firm stand against Iran's regime's brutality.
A plan to fight San Diego's opioid epidemic is moving forward here this morning. County supervisors approved this proposal. It will expand access to medically assisted treatment, put wellness advocates in hospitals, and launch public information campaigns. It will be paid with funds from opioid lawsuit settlements. The county expects to receive more than $100 million. And this morning, local Sharp doctors are calling the surge in respiratory virus cases in children an emergency. Officials at Rady Children's tell us 400 kids have tested positive for RSV in just the past 2 weeks.
Now the kids aren't wearing masks and kids are all back seeing each other in school and playing and parties and sports. The viruses are taking advantage of that.
RSV causes an inflammation in the lungs. Symptoms are similar to the common cold, but a sign of severe infection includes short, shallow, and rapid breathing. The surge in RSV cases is putting a strain on hospitals. Medical experts are concerned about a possible triple-demic this winter, with cases of COVID, flu, and RSV all expected to rise.
And now we're learning an earthquake app helped warn people about a 5.1 magnitude quake. This happened in San Jose. Yesterday's quake was felt from central California, places like Fresno to north of Sacramento, so pretty widespread. No damage or injuries were reported, thankfully. Those who downloaded the MyShake app had about 10 to 20 seconds of warning that the ground was about to shake.
That alert was issued by the USGS 5 seconds after the earthquake was detected. That estimate grew as shake alert powered alerts were delivered to residents, potentially providing seconds of warning depending on their distance from the epicenter.
You know, when we had the great California shakeout, they always say, get that MyShake app if you don't have it. It is free to download. We do have information on the app and how to prepare for an earthquake by going to CBS8.com. You'll get all the information you need right there on the help button. A lot of shaking was felt for quite some time. They said it was a long rumble yesterday.
Good reminder to get that app. Any few seconds helps, right?
Yeah.
Check in with Evan on that crash that we had. You're keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, it looks like this is still continuing to cause some congestion in the Otay and San Ysidro area. This is the entry ramp to the 905 westbound at the 805 southbound. So you see that's the intersection there where the 805 meets the 905. Right now, not any tremendous backups, but it looks like if you're trying to connect there to the 905 westbound, that's where you're going to run into the difficulty this morning. So far, we've been seeing some delays on the farther up on the 805 northbound, but besides that, this area still remains relatively light as far as traffic goes. Again, this is from San Ysidro up to Otay that we're seeing that congestion mainly, and that you're going to run into delays if you're trying to make your way onto the 905 westbound. Let's transition to traffic, or to weather, I should say, and talk about how the forecast is shaping up to start off the day. 69 degrees is your expected forecast high this afternoon along the coastline, 71 inland. Mostly sunny skies is what you can expect. There are some coastal clouds, though, that we are running into. That's because of a stronger push of onshore flow. That onshore flow is allowing for some cooler than normal temperatures to prevail by the afternoon. Average afternoon high would be 75. Instead, we're just going to make it to about 69 along the coast. Average high for your inland valleys would be closer to 80 degrees. Instead, 71 is what we're expecting. Onshore flow has also allowed for denser clouds along the immediate coastline. So you can see on our infrared satellite loop that there are clouds offshore right now. That looks like they're starting to push closer to the coastline, though, and most of our cameras have indicated that we do have a little bit of cloud cover, at least, that we're working with to start off the day. Those clouds are going to turn into passing clouds by the afternoon, meaning they'll make their way across the skyline pretty quickly. They're not necessarily just hanging out with us for the day. Just some passing clouds is what we can expect inland. Temperatures by the afternoon are going to be in the about 70s. Looks like as we wake up, though, we are at 47 in Escondido, 49 in Poway to kick off the day.